guys to Code4Y'all. My name is William Fremo. I'm the VP of Code4Y'all. So, I'm not sure if this is like your first time being at the ION, but they are our host here tonight, so we're very fortunate to have them. So they're about the nucleus for innovation, inclusion, collaboration, exploration, and I'm so honored that we are collaborating to have Code4Y'all at the ION. We have this every other month, so the next one for this one is going to be in January. So if is this anyone's first time to Code4Y'all? Any questions, man? Great. So yeah, big applause to you guys for coming out. So I was telling something like we all have like different ways how we got into tech, and I transitioned from medicine into doing a boot camp into getting into technology, and it was a scary thing. And one thing I learned about the process is that I'm like teaching myself. So there's this other thing called freecodecamp.org. If you guys aren't familiar with that, you can pretty much teach yourself technology, coding, all online for free. And so the Code4Y'all, we're trying to leverage the community and the internet to help people learn how to code. And these presentations that we have, we don't expect you to be an expert from hearing these things, but I'm hoping it inspires you and motivates you to learn. Okay? And another big part of Code4Y'all is like we want you guys to collaborate. Talk to anyone here, talk to me, talk to Michael. Charlie, he's had years of experience. He's just recently retired. Talk to him. So talk to everyone. You can learn something from everyone. So that's a main reason we love to have these like in-person meetups. So like I said, we're Code4Y'all. We have different meetups. We have this one. This is called Code4Y'all Ion over here in Midtown. We have another one called Code4Y'all Pizza and Code over in West Chase. That's over at Improving. And then we have another one next month called Code4Y'all Tacos and Code. That's over in the Woodlands. So if you guys are in that area, I encourage you guys to go there. And we have another division called Code4Y'all Kids. We kind of formed that division after I saw some parents brought their children to attend. And I was like, hey, this shouldn't just be specific for adults. It should be for everyone. So we created a Code4Y'all Kids division. So we are on Facebook, IG, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Gotta thank Kaya and his father. He will be sharing me like the links to this presentation. So if you guys want to view this afterwards, I'll try to post it up on all our different socials.
No TikTok, huh?
Yeah, no TikTok there.
That's all right.
So. Yeah, Michael's probably been helping with a little bit with our social media too. So we are for the Code4Y'all Kids. Nargiza, who's the president, she handles that. She pretty much tries to teach kids like robotics, and then they do different kind of like competitions. And all of us, like me too, like we're all not getting paid for this. We do this because like we love the community and want to give back. So she was doing like these competitions with these kids, and she's paying out of pocket. And I was like telling her, why pay out of pocket? Let's like reach out to the community, see if they're interested in donating to this program. So you can donate on our Code4Y'all meetup group. But everything goes to the organization. Specifically, right now we're looking to help like these kids, get more kids to go to these competitions and helping them learn to code. The supplies cost money, everything costs money, and she was like paying this all out of pocket. And I was like, let me reach out to the community. So if you guys are interested, go to our meetup group, Code4Y'all, and donate. And then finally, I want you guys, a lot of the people who are presenting, a lot of the people who are part of the organization, we want you guys to be part of this group. So there are different ways. If you guys are interested, you can scan that link. You can welcome members like I'm doing right now. You can do presentations like Michael's doing. And it also helps build your own personal brand. I feel like to truly be an expert in something, you need to teach. Like even if you're just learning it yourself. That's to me the best way to learn, right? If I'm able to, I like looking at hello worlds. I like to look at things that make sense to me. So I encourage you guys, if you are interested, click that link, join the Code4Y'all team. I am looking for someone to replace me for the IM meetup. So if anyone wants to be in charge of this IM meetup, hit me up after this event. But I'm very honored to have Michael. He's been handling some of the social media, and I really believe you can have a good product, but if you don't have good marketing, no one's going to know about it. So I feel like this presentation is going to be a very worthwhile presentation for you guys. Thank you guys.
Thanks, Will. So my name is Michael Tran. Give me a quick second as I transition. I met Will at one of these events about a year ago, and I've learned a lot. I'm not a coder. I am a little more tech focused than most marketers, but and I have some basic knowledge around front end design, but never coded online in my life. So, but that said, I'm gonna make this presentation very contextual and baseline it with some marketing knowledge that I have and share with you guys. But before we begin, what's everyone's knowledge level of marketing? Raise your hand if it's like 0 to beginner level. Medium? Okay. Expert? Well, call me out. Yeah.
I'm medium.
I'm just a
But no, I do want this to be very interactive and discussion based. So the first half of this presentation is just going to be a way to baseline some of this discussion with some fundamental marketing concepts, and then we'll pivot into like a marketing technology stack demo, working through some examples, real life examples of projects I've worked on, focusing everything from SEO to UX, AI, LLMs, and the creative process, design, analytics. So I'm kind of a marketing generalist with expertise really in SEO, design, and content. And I'll get to that screen. I began my career here in Houston. Try this again. I've never done this before. Where's the present button?
Oh, you ought to do it.
Okay. I began my career at here in Houston at Invesco, right down the street at Greenway. Started in our investments sales team, transitioned to the marketing communications where I did product marketing, then parlayed that into a career in New York City at JP Morgan, private bank, running their client reporting and marketing for the global access funds, which has now become a really big beast. Then transitioned, I wanted something a little less corporate, a little more impactful in the marketing sense. I found a really unique opportunity at Maria Asset, the largest non-Western fund manager in Asia. They're based out of Korea. Really was the second hire in a marketing sense, and really helped develop their digital stack. Then more recently,
Is it living in Korea?
I'm sorry?
Did you move to Korea?
No, I wish. We were based in New York though, but we're constant collaboration with our Korean counterparts. And then I worked in roles, I kind of pivoted to more of a technology marketing role, where worked for FactSet, which is a investment manager analytics company. Dun Bradstreet, a joint venture that I had first started there, and then more recently at Ready Capital, where I was head of digital. Now, I haven't gone back to Houston. I'm kind of working into doing my own thing. It's called Marketing Robot. Working with a number of different companies, some real estate companies, insurance companies, and hotels in North Carolina. So it's all over the place. And I had also recently started, well, during COVID, I had an experiment in YouTube, so I can had some lucky experimentation there where I got some user acquisition there, but
What brought you back to Houston?
family, yeah. It's good to be back. Came back to Houston and do not recognize it at all. It's great. I mean, it's just so dynamic, such a dynamic city. So in this presentation, one, there's everything we're going to talk about you can access through a webpage that's optimized for the Notion app. If you're not aware of Notion, Notion's a note-taking app, but it's also really, it's a really easy way to build web pages. And so I'll talk through some of the things that we'll eventually discuss through the second half of this demo. But all in all, the way the resources kit is structured, it's going to be supportive of the marketing funnel, which I'll review through in a moment. Any questions? Cool. All right, so can't really talk about marketing without talking about AI in 2025. AI, of course, is a really big component of everyone's workflow, regardless if you're marketing or tech or you're an attorney or healthcare. You know, it's really replaced a lot of integrated ways we work and building, really accelerating our processes, how we kind of do work today in 2024. When it respects with marketing, it's really become the underpin of how marketers are bringing together all their different platforms, really contingent on having really healthy first-party and third-party data, but still being in compliance with the ever-changing world of user privacy driven by the EU and GDPR. This slide here really demonstrates how big the stack has gotten. And so a key component of this presentation today, I'm going to show you guys how you can really filter through all the noise of marketing technology stacks to find the right tool best for your venture or project that you're working on. Any questions? Okay, cool.
What's Snowflake?
Snowflake's a data platform. It's making a lot of headway in the marketplace. I haven't personally used it. But what I understand is that it's a really strong way to channel unstructured data into applications. Has anyone had exposure to Snowflake?
I know the name, but
Yeah.
use Snowflake for this. Do you use this?
This is the only Snowflake mentioned outside of Christmas time we'll talk about later. But.
The words are in the dark band. Do we need to know what those are? I can't read it.
I just put the slide in to show where AI is going. One thing I failed to mention is that a lot of the companies and colleagues I'm working with right now are still very skeptic of AI. You know, I think we've all used GPT or Cloud and found mistakes. So it's still pretty early on where you're going to see this really replace a lot of the content creation side of AI or even personalized experiences. But this is where at least the technology companies, one should believe that marketing's heading. And this is potential that we're going to get there, but due to all the different reasons of compliance and accuracy, I don't think we're anywhere close to it. But that's just my take.
Did I mention my favorite analogy with AI right now?
No.
I have a favorite analogy on AI right now. In the pile of horseshit that's AI, there's a pony in there somewhere. Okay?
I love it. It's gonna help me with my existential anxiety.
Yes.
But product marketing, you know, it's really here we're just gonna baseline you guys and expect marketing 101 lesson. Oh, okay. Sorry. Is this better?
Probably not to the top part.
I don't know the screams, but I tend to talk loud. But
There you go.
is it better? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. You know, product marketing is really the core of a true integrated marketing plan. And it's really, providing the value proposition of any product or service that you're marketing out to the marketplace, and really uncovering the issues and problems that your user has. And this is just a way to get there. Understanding, but the key part of this is really understanding who your target audiences are and positioning your product marketing and your content to help them overcome their challenges in their day-to-day.
So when you say product, you also mean service.
Correct. You're right.
But
I'm
you
going to
don't-
use it interchangeably.
But you don't mean brand, right?
Brand, yeah, it's an umbrella. I'm trying to think of a brand that might have both products and services. Maybe Dell, or Microsoft's a good example of, everything's driven off of a core value proposition that you have that's blanket to the market, and then you customize that value proposition into personas, whether it's based on demographics or psychology or, different product set needs. You could kind of disseminate that product messaging, and that's where the AI comes into play. AI is going to support that product messaging, that core value prop, and then disseminate it based on the feedback they give it through models and such. But that is something that still, I haven't seen any company really do. I think Meta's trying to do that, and it's still pretty buggy, but that's just the direction the market's going. Buyer segmentation or personas, that's really the way you break down your market, so you can target them, through paid ads or paid acquisition or SEO. SEO is essentially how your product gets found in the marketplace. It's essentially ranking for Google search. That has changed a little bit now SEO best practices has changed fundamentally with the introduction of, what do they call it, Google Gemini? And we've all seen it, right, the AI overview. But we'll talk through more details about how to get your website measured for SEO. I'll teach you guys through that. Any questions so far? I'm gonna speed run through the rest of this so we could kind of get through the tech demo. Here's a really good slide that kind of breaks down how all the marketing jargon that supports how you can funnel your marketing message. Marketers like to call those marketing channels. And in those channels, they usually break it down to 4 main buckets. You have earned media, and that's getting your message through PR or content syndication, social mentions, influencers, that group.
Does that include organic and SEO?
No, that's going to be actually their owned media. The question was, does that include organic or SEO or Google search? And the answer is no, that's going to be in a different bucket. Bucket number 2 is through paid media, and that's through targeted advertising, Google ads, Meta ads, and anything that's outside of those 2 big roles of advertising, content providers and such. That includes paid search, social ads, display ads, and affiliate marketing. Owned media is what you can control and then bring in traffic or exposure through those channels, and that's SEO optimization, email campaigns, landing pages, social media, of course, YouTube and videos. And that's really becoming one of the best ways to attract audiences is, ways that you don't have to rely on other channels to kind of bring them into the mix. And the final bucket is events and trade shows. I'm just gonna, I think this might, there's one final slide. And this is all gonna play into the tech demo, but here, marketers put things in what we call a full funnel marketing model. And that's typically referred to as top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, or a selection, and then the closing component or the sales process. And then everything after is like referrals, advocates, just building your base that way. And pretty much any product, if you think about it, like any product that you sell is gonna fall, whether it's like a bag of chips to like a home mortgage to a multi-million-dollar software enterprise deal, you could kind of put that into a quantifiable model. It's really understanding how that sales process works, and then working with your team to really align what the steps are. And then you can build a marketing process that supports that. Again, this is just very high level. I'll put the slides in the Notion webpage after we're done, so you can reference this later. All right, so we got about like 30 minutes left, so we can focus now really on the fun stuff.
This is a different QR code?
Same QR code, yeah. Thank you, Siri. Any questions before we go into it? Huh?
I said to go a little over something.
Okay. Any questions about marketing 101?
So say for example, you do have, you're selling products, you have an e-commerce store, and you're selling products. I mean, you get a lot of people into your website, but you have no one's buying anything.
Right. Yeah, that's what marketers call a conversion issue. Maybe an on-page conversion. We'll talk about that. That's a really good question, by the way. The question of you guys in here is that if you're able to take people into the top part of the funnel, but no one's purchasing, how can I increase that conversion? And the simple answer is really start deploying A/B testing the same way you would do in app development. Figure out it's the whole process, but understand why people are not converting and deploy experiments. Do an A/B test or a multivariate test to see if version A versus version B, which one's actually converting better. And that's when you start experimenting and throwing different messages to that user.
Well, it was, say for example, it was selling like, I think the issue was trust. It was selling eBay products.
Ooh,
But
yeah, eBay's tough because you don't have that ability to run A/B testing.
Yeah.
It
wasn't selling your website though, but that's the thing, the products were selling on eBay.
Right.
Or Amazon, for example. Well, mostly it was eBay.
Right.
But not on my website.
So there's, in the Notion deck, which I'm gonna navigate towards anyway, there's a guy, it's a growth marketing team that's based out of the Netherlands. They're easily the best YouTube content I've seen in my entire career around that particular question. They'll have like webinars or seminars about how do you convert on various platforms on e-commerce. But the short answer is you just gotta run a lot of experiments. And when you strike gold, like you see the one thing that really hits hard, you just gotta double down on that process.
What's the name of the YouTube channel?
It's in the Notion, but it's one of the first videos. It's called Growth Tribe or Growth Hacking Process. But I'm gonna take you guys there right now.
And if it's a trust issue, can't you get them on an email list and then build trust over time?
The question is, if it's a trust issue, can you just put them on an email list?
If they're
And build
setting
trust
up an
over
email
time.
list, they probably aren't gonna open their wallet anyway.
Right. Well, it depends. It depends on the user, right? Because we're all very unique in the way we behave, and some users love email, some users hate email. You know, and
On a text list or WhatsApp or something.
exactly. It's really what resonates with your
A
audience.
Discord channel.
So I'm gonna bring this over. But I was really tempted to like add a lot of things here. Actually, there's but in here, this second link is that video. I wonder, it's about 5 minutes, but it's really one of the best videos I've ever, like he could explain it far better than I can. Well, I did. Do this. All right, that's not the right video. 1 second. And there's like no BS in this video. I'm just gonna go right into it. Can you guys hear? I'm gonna put.
Maybe just. Hold your mic up.
Yeah.
Before you jump into this process, there's a few prerequisites that need to be filled out. First of all, we have the business model canvas. Don't jump into the growth process unless you have a business model canvas that's validated at around 80%.
What he means by validated, just confirming with your team,
is the value
like the
proposition.
product owner, the sales team,
You need to be sure that your business
just aligning with
has
all
a
your
clear pain
stakeholders, your
solving
company.
and the right
So you
solution
guys
for
found
that pain. We call that
really on the
problem
same
solution.
page.
Third of all, you need a clear understanding of who your segments are or who your personas are. Who are you targeting specifically in the market to solve that pain for? Now that we've got the prerequisites covered, we can jump into the actual growth process. Now at the very top of the process, we have something called the pirate funnel.
This is basically that funnel.
Now the pirate funnel was developed by Dave Nickler of 500 Startups, and it's a beautiful KPI framework that can be used for almost any type of business. Pirate funnel basically says that every customer segment goes through 6 different steps on his customer journey.
And they name it differently, but it's
awareness. And it's
basically the
asking
same
yourself,
concept.
how do we get people to visit our website? Second, you have acquisition. Of those people visiting your page, your landing page, your app page, how many are doing that first specific action that is required from users? The third part of the funnel is activation. What is our wow moment? How do we know that the user had a great first user experience and that he'll actually come back to our product? Now the fourth part of the funnel is retention. How can I make sure that users keep coming back? And what is retention for me? Is it daily retention, weekly retention, monthly retention? In some cases, when you're selling mortgages, maybe it's once every 10 years. The fifth part of the funnel is referral. Do we have organic virality? For example, a messaging app has organic natural virality. I can't use the app if I'm not inviting other people. But for other products or services, there is no incentive built into the product to invite other people. Then we talk about artificial virality. And then finally, there's revenue. How are we monetizing? What's our business model? And even though it's at the bottom, that doesn't mean that it's the least important part of the funnel. Sometimes it's the part of the funnel that you want to optimize first. Now, the way that we've built this pirate funnel template is that we put 2 specific columns. The first column, I want you to ask yourself, what does each part of the funnel mean for my business? The second column is a little bit more complicated. This is what we call being data-driven. For each part of the funnel, what is the specific metric that I can track? Now that we've done the pirate funnel, we can look into the second step, which is what we call the ONTM. ONTM is short for the one metric that matters.
This is a really
This is a
important
notion
point.
that was brought up in Alistair Crowell and Ben Yoskovitz's book, Lean Analytics, which is like, I believe, one of the best business books ever written. Now, the point of the ONTM, the one metric that matters, is that at any stage of development of a company or of a project or of a product, there's actually one metric that matters more than all other metrics. And that's the metric that you should focus on obsessively.
So that could be user acquisition or sales closing. It really depends on your product, but if you're able to focus on that one metric, it eliminates any fluff or vanity metrics, and you just focus on getting that metric up, for that instance, the eBay, you just want to increase that number of sales at a certain
comes up with
number,
an
which
idea,
is a certain number.
and then during a meeting or
Just
online,
guessing.
doing them all.
Based on my knowledge.
The second part is R, for ranking those ideas, prioritizing them.
This is essentially aligning with your teams and how to get
They allow you to.
everyone who has like a different voice or different opinion to get just baseline them together. This is a methodology you can use to take everyone's sort of viewpoints and then streamline it into an objective, measurable metric.
That's basically the part where we take our highest ranked ideas and we design an experiment which we'll execute to verify whether that was a great idea or just a really bad idea. Now, to outline an experiment, we use an experiment sheet. This experiment sheet has 4 parts: what you believe, how you will verify it, what you will measure, and what conditions need to be met to say whether you were right or wrong with your assumption. The next part of the process is the W. It's the work, execute, get shit done. But this is really the part where you see the difference between that highly competitive company or team and the one that comes back 2 weeks later with excuses. The last part of the growth loop is actually one of the most important, but it's one of the ones where people spend the least time. It's the S, to study the results of your experiment. Now what tends to happen is we look at the hard quantitative data of our experiments, but what's really important is to look at the qualitative reasons why an experiment won or failed. This is how we can learn more about our customers and our product.
And that's basically it. So, cool. I have the YouTube Premium. I think I have YouTube Premium with no ads. All right. We'll kind of go through very specific marketing technology platforms. But was there anything that you guys wanted to review in particular in terms of marketing, like Google Analytics? Question in the back.
So I guess kind of like his process is basically like product research or like UI UX research, in the sense of just taking like the highest product, doing testing, and then putting it out on the internet to kind of see like how the product will do.
Right. But, sorry, I kind of missed the question.
I really didn't have a question. I also had a statement.
Oh, right on. Cool. Yeah. Did everyone hear that? I think what I heard was with product design and product marketing, just offering your service and then pivoting that product based on how the market responds. And that's a really strong, valid point that I felt to mention. That's really, I'm trying to think about a really good example top of my head. Just how do I have an example?
Amazon self-books anymore.
What's that? Yeah, Amazon's exactly. That's actually the example I was thinking of. Amazon started as a book company, but now what's their number one moneymaker? It's AWS. You know, and that's a perfect example of taking a product, seeing how the market responds, and then pivoting based on the market demand and market needs and customer needs. But one of the goals, what I'm going to focus this stack on, and I did this in the Notion app, is that most of the tool sets that are out there are free to get into. Some of them are really well known, like Canva, so I'm not going to spend so much time on Canva. But some other ones are a lot less known, and we'll go through those items there. But, so I'm going to run through a quick example of a company that I was head of digital for, and it's ReadyCapital.com. Ready Capital is a specialized non-bank lender of commercial real estate loans. And when I came on board about three and a half years ago, their website was in terrible disarray. You could barely find them on the web. And I assumed sort of responsibility over the website and then all their digital channels. And what we did was we really had to fundamentally clean up the website so that not only it was providing a good user experience, which Google tracks and really factors into search, but also takes into account how the search engines are able to digest the content on your website. And that's really done very explicitly in the way you code the website. So any coders in here, you could really, yes.
So in the real estate capital business,
Correct. Yeah.
is that normal? You get customers off the web?
That's a really good question, and the answer is no.
I would think
You're right, you're exactly
numbers,
right.
like
It's
the-
based, on the commercial real estate side, the answer is no. It's all based on relationships between the mortgage lenders and the mortgage brokers and that whole world. But in this, Red Capital also does small business, commercial, SBA commercial loans, and that's where you can experiment and really go direct to market. And in that case, we were running a lot of different ad campaigns through Google Ads. You're essentially, bidding on certain keywords, and whoever has the best score and the best, content supporting that ad will essentially win that search term. Let me actually, I'm just gonna pivot all over the place based on what you guys tell me. Right now, I'm working on a project for a company called Wait, and it's tough because the algorithm wants you to think it's based in, you're looking for a roadway in, but they're a small little in North Carolina. But I should turn this off. But essentially, they were having issues even appearing as the #1 search term in their, when you're typing for Ridgeway in North Carolina. And through a combination of optimizing for SEO on the website, in conjunction with running ads, we're able to re-own that spot. And let me just show you the back end of how that's being run.
So is that your personalized results, or is that what a normal person?
It's a really good question. It was whether or not this is a personalized or contextual search results, and the answer is right. What you're saying is yes. You caught me.
They know you searched this term a lot.
Well, I'm going to try using incognito, and even then it should come up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's a combination of things that's working in there, but you're exactly right. Because now the sponsored ads are actually dominating the search results. And then, luckily, we're able to still get the first organic result. What you're seeing here is what SEO experts call the Google search page, which is the search engine results page. It's a combination of a lot of things that's happening. It's you're seeing probably 6 different ad channels vying for your attention. If you go to like search engines in China or Japan, that number is even higher, depending on if it's Baidu or Japan's actually Google search. I'm thinking of Korea. I forget what the one in Korea is. The idea is that everyone's trying to fight for your eyes here. And now Expedia is running a search ad on Ridgeway Inn. There's a rogue company which Ridgeway Inn doesn't even work with that's vying for their ads. So in the hotel space, it's extremely competitive.
So there are 2 organic results on that page, and everything else is an ad.
There's actually only one.
Only one.
TripAdvisor is number 2. My
Sure,
mirror
that's
is finally
fine.
sharing, so that's good. And then there's Blowing Rock.
Yeah, but it's been where the fold was.
Right. Ridgeway Inn is a small hotel in Blowing Rock, North Carolina, which got hit hard recently with Hurricane Harvey. And so, but what we did is, content is king when it comes to SEO. Let's take you there.
So it's mostly just back end.
It's a combination of things. 3 fundamental things that make your SEO rankings go up. It's one, back end, or the technical component, is how fast your page is loading. And then the technical markups. The way the pages are structured in websites is that you know, you have these header tags, and through those header tags, whether it's H1, H2, or H3, the way you display your content through those header tags tells the search engines what they're reading. Now that's changed a little bit because of LLMs and the deployment of Google Gemini, is that Google Gemini actually understands content a lot better than it used to. And it's kind of, everything that we've known about SEO best practices is kind of gone out through the door, got thrown out the door, because with search engines now, there's been years of we've all seen it, right? We've gone to this informational website. The moment you hit it, it's like 10 ads. It's all affiliate marketing links, and it's gotten into a really bad experience. Where they're now prioritizing like Reddit and, you know, New York Times. You know, SEO is becoming more and more challenging to win, but that's not to say that if you don't have a structurally sound website and the user experience on that website is strong, that Google's gonna say, all right, so the people are visiting the site for a reason. Like the AI is that good now, where it can understand, even if you're a small player and people are still staying on your site, there's a reason why people are staying on it. The moment somebody jumps onto your site and leaves, it's called a bounce rate. And so your bounce rate's high, then Google's gonna penalize you for that. But this is something that we had done, you know, how do you rank? If somebody doesn't know about you as the Ridgeway Inn, and they're not going to Google Maps, which is what, you know, Google search for hotels, which is like 80 or 90%, or what OTAs, online travel agencies, are looking, how does a mom and pop shop get in front of people? And so a blog's a really good way, albeit a very difficult way. It's really the only option that you have from an organic content perspective, outside of influencers or relationships with, like, you know, other channels. And that's where your partnerships really come into play. Just throwing yourself out there with influencers. I mean, influencers are a really good way to get people to your funnel.
What about branding to set yourself apart from?
Branding is a really good way too. Although personally, I think what I've read with a lot of startups now, the focus is less on branding and is really just hitting your metric on the onset, whatever that metric is, just to get people to the door. Because, you know, branding is it's hard to quantify that value of what separates your brand from your other brands. That's your big players. That's your Coca-Cola and your L'Oreal.
So it doesn't matter if it's service or product.
Well, let's take this example, because I can't show you the old website, but it was terrible. It was like garbage. So branding actually is really good to keep that user retained on the website, keeping that bounce rate low. So there's always value to brand, but there's also, you're gonna get better cost per acquisition rates. And I didn't want to go there yet, but cost per acquisition is like the one metric that most marketers look at. You're able to put all your marketing dollars into a framework. How much money do I spend on SEO or hiring writers to write content for me? How much money am I spending on influencers or paid ads through Meta and Google? But through all those channels, you could channel down to one metric and work the math, and that ends up being the cost per acquisition per user. So let's say I'm this hotel, and, you know, my friend Hannah goes and finds the hotel through Expedia, and then Will finds it on the blog. He types in, you know, Ball Village, North Carolina. Will's cost per acquisition is actually be far less than Hannah, because what Booking or Expedia will do is they'll take a pretty big cut from that booking. Whereas if Will books my site directly on the website, I get to keep full percentage of that booking since he booked direct. And so that's why you have Booking.com That's why you have Booking.com and all those other channels fighting for dollars. They want to take away all bookings from the mom and pops and bookings for them because they'll get a big cut from that. It was a really good question. Yeah. Let's go back. I want to show you some really, again, all this you can access, but I want to show you some of the behind the scenes stuff here.
You're gonna show us Notion?
Notion's a pretty basic one. Yeah, but I want to show you like Search Console and try to get to my YouTube. So I'll quickly show you my YouTube channel. I'll just show you an experiment that I doubled down on and got it to work. I should actually pour more effort into it, but YouTube's getting really competitive. But with YouTube, I started it was my creative outlet during COVID, and I started a lo-fi channel that like crashed and burned. I was getting like 10 views, and it was terrible. Like nobody was going to my channel at all. Then I experimented. It's messing things up. Let's see if I can get there real quick.
You stayed within the same name of the channel, or
Oh, here it
did
is.
you vary it first?
So I was gonna start a coffee company too, but then, does anyone know Emma Chamberlain or Mr. Beast? Yeah. So all of a sudden YouTubers started like doing their own coffee. I was gonna do like, funky Asian flavors, but then those guys started taking over the scene. So like, I'm not gonna get into it. But that's like a perfect example of a pivot. So I created this channel called Code4Y'all, and I was just launching all these random videos that really wasn't hitting at all. Let's see if I can get to. So at the beginning, you can see it, right? Like 300 views for this Japanese lo-fi video. I was doing like a Willy Wonka video, and in one of these I did a. Has anyone been to Japan? Raise your hand if you've been to Japan. Okay. Does anyone know the brand Muji? The clothing stores like Japanese Gap? Well, they have this like BGM music CD that you can buy there, and it's really big in Japan and in Asia. So I experimented. I did one called Muji BGM Italy, and at the time it was still only getting a couple of views at the time. But then I checked out of this, and it came back like 6 months later, and all of a sudden, this Muji had like 10,000 views or something insane. And you see some of the other ones, the experience I was running really wasn't hitting.
You need some marketing technology for analytics alerts.
Yeah. I didn't have the studio app. There's a YouTube studio app that's really actually pretty cool. But once I doubled down on the Muji stuff.
And why did that one hit? Did some blogger mention it, or?
No, I think people were just searching for it. It's a good question. The question was why did it hit? And people were just searching for it. Or the way the algorithm works for YouTube videos or social media is that in the first 10 minutes or time period of a video, you're basically competing against your peers. And that's William's friends or the people you follow on LinkedIn. Like, my content comes out there, and the moment that people start liking it, it's gonna guarantee that that's gonna be viewed. I'll give you a perfect example. I got married this past summer, and it was the one video that, people were liking, of course, but then I did an Insta story, and it was like, my usual Insta story is like 100 views, and this one had like 500 views or something crazy. So it's just, the more people engage with your content right off the bat and over a period of time, the more likely the algorithm is going to serve that content or recommend that content to other users. That's where like influencers become really clutch for your product, is find the right influencer that has the right segments that you want to attract. It's the perfect way to get people into the door. I mean, they're all seeing the Houston influencers, restaurants and such.
Yeah,
I'm also eating there all the time.
well, especially recently with the Michelin.
Yeah, Michelin's a big one. That's a big play. So,
So that second one, is that the one? That's your best video? Wait, no, you just spoke.
it's this is my probably my
Oh,
best
underneath.
video. Yeah.
Well, there was one that said partially blocked or something. I had a little alert.
Oh, these are restrictions. So, because I'm not a musician, and this was really just, I'm not monetizing on this at all. It was just a project. But I really do love Muji BGMs. The corniest music, but it's really soothing. But I do this just to understand what attracts people. I did a Cobra Kai like yoga video, and people love it. It's all about weird, quirky content, especially now in 2024, where AI is gonna make content. You gotta deploy content that's gonna attract and really retain your users. But as sophisticated as AI is in creating content, it's as sophisticated as understanding how people are gonna like your content. So what you're gonna hear from like marketing agencies and all the experts is that and I agree with them, is that create content that you love, that you think that you're passionate about, and it's gonna attract users. That's really gonna bring people into your mix. Cobra Kai ambiance is a good example. So, I want to shift gears a little bit and show you Google Search Console real quick, because that's a really good one to understand. And I'll show you Moz Pro as well. Again, all these are listed in the Notion stack. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, when you have a business, how do you decide if, like, apps, do you need a website?
I am
All
so glad you
websites
asked me
have
that, because that was really a core component.
apps? Okay, good.
So the number one way I source technology apps, thank you for asking that question, is called G2 Crowd. It's basically Yelp for software. And any software that you can think of, it's probably listed on it. They started out only as marketing software, but then quickly pivoted into all things software. So let's have a make-believe company, and you guys tell me what's the number one need of the company, and I'm gonna come up with a software.
What's the URL?
It's g2.com or g2crowd.com. It's basically like the poor man's version of Gartner or Forrester, but the great thing is it's free. But let's say you're, just trying to think of a different example. Say you're an airline, and
Okay, I've got another one.
okay, oh, maybe that's a great excuse. She's the CEO of United.
No, I'm not. No, not yet.
Oh, do you have an example you want to reference?
Smart agriculture. As in,
Okay.
right now, you can spend $100,000 to outfit an entire field, or I can do Arduino and do it for $100.
So let's see, that's very niche.
It is, but you asked for an example.
Yeah, no, I'm curious to see if that's gonna, there you go. So the example that was brought up was agriculture, smart agriculture. So there's a category called agriculture software. And within this category, you have a bunch of different players. What it looks like they're doing, since a lot of these don't have reviews, I don't know if anyone realizes how Yelp got really big. So the Yelp kind of muscled into the scene because it took all these like geolocation data points, like restaurants, and basically created their own directory. Without mom and pops knowing it, it started creating these listings back when it first came out in like 2006, right, 2005. Listings with reviews, and there were a lot of restaurants that didn't realize it was happening and people were writing reviews. That's basically what GT is doing with all these software companies. It's using web scrapers and it's taking everything it's finding on the web and it's creating a listing for it. But that's how that stuff is really dominant. I was wondering why they would do smart agriculture, but you know, some of the more popular ones are like marketing services or CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot.
So this is like a Yelp for application.
Precisely.
Okay.
But what I've noticed is that they take reviews very seriously here. I once did an e-commerce project where I actually met the team, and they were pretty serious about like not having fake reviews. So I find it to be a very accurate source. That's how I source all my marketing tools, because in 2024 that marketing stack is so deep as anything that we all work in. So, you know, this is really the one key takeaway I wanted to show you guys is that use this as a resource to really help whatever workflow or business that you're trying to launch.
So what would be an example of how you use it? What did you search for?
So
Did you try
yeah, that's
it all,
really.
or you just pick the top one and use that? Or?
I kind of know what I know now. My stack selection may not be the best stack selection. It's just what I'm comfortable with my workflow. So for email marketing, I use HubSpot marketing. It also comes with a free CRM. So you can just drop all your contacts in a place in a database, so you can have an eventual way to contact them. But when users come on your website, you can actually track their activity if they surrender their email address to you. That's why you're always seeing content forms and downloadable content. The moment you can tie that internet cookie into your email address is the moment the company knows who you are. I see how many times they're interacting with you or you're interacting with them. Sometimes they call, especially that other information. But let's say, let's not use SEO, that's too dorky. Let's do social media. That's a really good one.
Okay, water quality.
Water. Yeah, so I'm trying to find one that's more central to everyone in the room.
Okay.
Like Uber?
What's that?
Transportation like Uber or something?
Yeah, let's see. That's a really good one because that's a consumer one.
Good.
Here it is. Uber Eats for merchants. Let's pretend we're all restaurant owners, right? So you're trying to figure out which food delivery software I want to pair up with. Here it'll just be able to see. I don't want to pay the juice on Grubhub, ChowNow, DoorDash. So you'll be able. Yeah, I just want to do one provider.
Does
What?
it cost something to sign up?
It doesn't cost anything at all. And they used to actually give gift cards to people to write reviews. They don't do it anymore because they're pretty big. But, I mean, this guy's probably an influencer now, Nick OP. It's a really good platform to really, before you even want to surrender your email to a platform, I would bet on my G2 crowd first,
Is that a marketing term, surrender?
I'm a marketer, but the moment I get your email is the moment I can know everything about you. So.
Okay. I mean, remarketing, you can remarket without.
You can't remarket,
okay?
no.
You're being tracked.
There-
You know who
well,
you are anyway.
There are a lot more limitations now, even in the U.S. Maybe not in Texas, but like
Yeah.
California, like CCPA, and even New York, of course, North
I
Carolina.
didn't realize email was, handled, because I have, last time I checked, 800 aliases. So when I sign up for a service, I sign up at service name at.
Yeah.
And then they're not tracking, this guy doesn't know what
They
this.
hate you. I have 7,000.
Well, there's still like a unified cookie code, and Google uses it, but I don't know the technology behind it, but that's basically what it is.
We are the 0.01%.
Right.
So you worry about us too much.
Well, I think we're at time. I don't want to keep everyone, but I appreciate you guys, letting me talk to you guys. This is the first time I've actually ever done this. So You guys have been great. Thanks for being awesome. I mean, my contact information is on the Notion. So you ever want to reach out with questions, have to answer them.
You put that,
Or you can connect with me on LinkedIn too. There's one.
you put that information up, so.
Yeah, let's get back into it.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. If you guys want to, we probably have to like leave this room in like maybe 5-10 minutes, but feel free to like kind of like congregate outside. There's like a bar upstairs. If you want to like reach out to anyone here, just like we're all friendly. I hope you guys join us for our next meetup group. I think one's at Improving next month, and the other one is at Berlin. Charlie is going to actually be speaking. He's going to be talking about AI, right? ChatGPT.
Well, we haven't decided what the
Yeah,
topics are.
still like in the press, but he is very knowledgeable.
Charlie in the
Excited to have him
Woodlands.
present for this
Yeah.
next week.
Look out for it on meetup.com.
So thank you guys for all coming out.
Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, that was strong. Okay, I should have